You know, I received fellatio in a movie theater while watching one of the further movies. I think it was the third or fourth one. So I gotta say, like, yeah, movies rememberable because I remembered that movie.
I don't think you remembered it because of the movie. I think you remembered it because you was getting head while watching the movie. It's a very
Yeah,
big difference.
there's a lot of fellatio was being received.
Okay.
Anyways, we got this big news story that I feel like everybody might be have their opinions on. We got Amber Heard and Johnny Depp in court battling it out. What they're battling it out for exactly? Not too sure. I don't even know what this is gonna end with. What are they gonna say? Johnny Depp, you're a bad man. I don't know, like what are they even arguing about? Like, what is this about?
I think he's suing her for defamation, right? So, like, in theory, there will be some kind of monetary payment on his part, like made to him if he gets the judgment. I don't think there's any criminal charges or anything tied to this. I think it's a pure lawsuit, right?
Yeah, I'm shocked that this is happening so openly to the world. This just seems like a personal lawsuit. Maybe because it's a defamation case, it happens in public. Because the defamation is about, you're ruining my image publicly. I don't know. It just seemed really strange to me that this is happening. It's just like all on social media. Like all I'm seeing every day is just a different Johnny Depp and Amber Heard post.
Yeah. Everybody says today that she was doing coke in court. I was like, yo, how do you get to that presumption that she's...
I saw the clip in question where she's doing coke in court. I don't know. I don't think anyone is ballsy enough to do coke in the middle of a courtroom. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone's gonna put a link to a video in like the comments or something, or an article or something. I don't think anyone is ballsy enough to do coke in the middle of a goddamn courtroom. I don't think so.
They had people saying that she was putting these crystals that actors use in her eye to so that she could like start simulating crying and stuff like that. I think they are going... I understand she made these accusations. I understand that she doesn't seem like a great person, but neither does Johnny Depp, really. And I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think I could be friends with either of these people. These people seem like drug addicts. They seem like the worst kind of drug addicts, too. It's like when you take too much of anything. That mega cup of wine he poured, that was a big cup of wine, bro. That was the cup of all. That was the wine cup of all wine cups. Okay, God damn it! People bend the knee to drink wine of that caliber. All right.
I think I agree with you. I think that it is completely possible that they're just both not great people. Like,
two really childish people living with each other with like overblown expectations of like what an actual relationship
with
is.
substance abuse issues and trauma they haven't dealt with, and who knows what else going on. Like, not to mention, man, you have that much money, you can get your hands on anything you want. You can get vices that are not available to the people like the common men like us on this podcast.
Yeah,
I think a lot of what's popular about this particular situation, I guess, is that I think a lot of men feel like people don't take men's issues seriously enough, and I think a lot of men are looking at this and seeing like, yo, a woman is abusing a man. Like, let's take this seriously. Like. And maybe not that eloquently, right? Like, I think they're just like oftentimes just trying to throw it out there because they're just happy that like the roles are finally reversed or whatever, and like it's public or something. But I think there's
that.
a lot of that energy in this.
I feel the same way. I feel like a lot of people are dogpiling her because she's actually treating him like shit. And there's like proof of it. There's proof of her lying. And there's proof of her, like, you know what I mean? Like treating him like a pure piece of shit. And like I said, some of his behavior is not great either. So it's like if these people were arguing each other like this for months, it does not surprise me that these type of childish behaviors that they had with each other were occurring. That shit just seems like par for the course for their relationship, like where it was headed. It sucks though, man, when you see toxic relationships like this and nobody is coming in and being like, guys, what are you really doing here? Like, what the fuck are you guys? What is this? Like, what is this shit relationship? Like, sometimes you got to learn when to call it. Learn when to call it.
Yeah. A lot of people have a hard time with that. Yeah, I definitely understand that. Like that does make it interesting. Like it is interesting to see a high profile case like this where it is documented accounts of spousal abuse with the woman as the instigator, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we only see stuff like this on film. Like when there is an actual scripted, you don't really get to see this type of shit play out in real life. And they're like, oh, she really was doing some real fucked up shit in the background.
I think it's the voyeurism aspect too. Like there are so many personal details coming out, and who doesn't want to know some personal details about how celebrities live because they're so far detached from us, right? Like it's just a world that you can't imagine. So you get little bits and pieces.
That Uber driver, the guy that was the front lobby guy, that shit was fucking insane.
What is this? I actually have not been following it very much. I see shit that pops up on my timeline basically, and that's it.
I'm not sure if he was her driver or he was her lobby guy or something like that, but apparently he had experiences with her, and they were questioning.
Like sex, you're saying?
No, he would drive her to and from places, if I'm not correct. Either that or he was like, would see her come in and out of the building. But I guess they were asking him questions pertaining to that. Did she look happy? Was she sad? Did they seem like they were arguing? Blah, 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 to like these effects. And it seems like he was getting stressed out. Bro, this guy took one of the biggest vapes and he sucked on it dumb hard and blew out Matt right in front of like the camera and the court and shit like that. And then you see him just start driving and then he like gets off the call. And even the judge is like, what am I supposed to make of this? I don't know. Like even the judge is like, we're just going to take 10 minutes. Like, it's a little bit ridiculous.
Well, that's just unprofessional, man. That guy should not be doing that when he's on some kind of like video conference call with people.
Yeah, the guy seemed like he was like, man, this is not worth it. And he just started driving off and then like got off the call.
That shit is so weird.
Yeah, because they kept asking him, was she wearing makeup? And he's like, I didn't see that. Was she crying? It's like, I didn't see that. And he's like, was she doing this? It was like 10 questions. And I guess that made him pissed off. And he like sucked on the vape mad hard. And then he was blowing it and shit like that. He looked like he was getting stressed out.
I know everyone was in love with the psychologist. Like I saw a bunch of like YouTube recommendations up that were like, Johnny Depp psychologist destroys Amber Heard's lawyer and all kinds of like reaction videos and shit to that. But I don't know, dude. It feels weird to me to like watch something with that level of like interest, like something like this personal thing between two people. It feels really weird to just get to watch that and get enjoyment out of watching it.
I would hate having my, like I say it all the time, like if somebody had my business out there, I'm like, go ahead and post it. But now I see stuff like this and I'm like, oh, this would be terrible if they had like receipts on my text messages, messages that I had left in their voicemail. I'm like, oh, this is gonna look bad.
Think about some of the arguments we have on the podcast, right? Imagine if those were ever read in like a court. Like it's just a lawyer reading like a transcript to you.
Guarantee they'll get more fucking views than anything we post. These guys were fighting.
And then you ask the same question 10 times, Mr. Dowie, if you'll refer to the transcript. And then you send eyes. Yes, that's correct.
What did those eyes mean?
He knew what those eyes fucking meant. They meant nothing, Your Honor. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Question for our fan, okay? If you end a sentence with somebody's name, what does it mean? I want to know what you think. If I'm like, I already gave you the stuff, Pucho.
Whatever.
I am
are
reading
you
it in an inflection. It's a text.
That is the inflection that you read it in your mind for sure. Like that is what you default to.
The people want to know.
Yeah.
All right. Something else that's been kind of circulating the internet very recently. Not to do a whole tangent, but feels like we're just talking about popular internet topics right now. This whole Kevin Samuels thing. Have you guys seen this stuff?
Yo, guys, we lost a legend, right? We lost a pillar of the black community.
The only
Who else is gonna call single mothers? What did he call them? He called
leftovers is what he would call them.
Who else will do it now?
What a piece of shit that man was.
From the ashes, a hero will rise. And his name is Doughboy. All right? Doughy Fresh. I will come back as Kevin Samuels doppelganger. It's going to be over. I'm going to actually have to stop this podcast with you guys. I'm going to create exclusive content for all the males. We're going to create Fresh and Fit podcast. Men can do it. Women, we hate you, so you can't do anything that we can do. So
I fucking love that Tony came back in during your Kevin Samuels rant.
Are you coming back in blackface though?
No. What are you talking about?
Just saying,
No.
you just said that you were gonna like be the new Kevin
but
Samuels.
I will be in a suit, because if there's one thing that the porn community loves, is to watch someone in a suit just talking shit. It's like a pastor syndrome that we have. It's like, oh, this guy in the suit is just talking shit. Like, might as well watch him, right? It's like, I don't know. We just love to that's all this guy did was put on a fucking suit, sprayed some colognes, and then we listened to them. We took this nigga's word as like law.
I would never have known who Kevin Samuels was if it wasn't for this podcast and you mentioning it on the podcast. Other like the back chat that we have, would have had no idea. What a terrible take machine that man was.
Yeah. His business is out there too.
So Tony, we the topic has just been kind of growing. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard is what we're talking about.
But we ended up with Kevin though.
But at first, you missed, bro. Can you tell them how legit Ricardo's Steakhouse was?
Yes. I had numerous people tell me to say Pucho has no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Wow.
Damn.
That's what was said. That's what was said in Uber. If Pucho says anything about this other steakhouse, he has no fucking idea what he's talking about.
No,
I was like, damn.
That's crazy. I don't remember it being that hostile, but
it wasn't hostile. It was just saying, I would just tell Pucho, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
What is this take that Pucho took? What is this take that it's wrong? What's going on here?
Doughboy mentioned another steakhouse that Pucho said to go to try. I forgot
Peter Luger's.
Yeah, there you go, Peter Luger's. And we went to Ricardo's and it was phenomenal. And they were like, oh, next time I tell Pucho, he tell me, oh, go to Peter. I'm going to tell him he don't know what the hell he's talking about. He has da 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 da. I'm
I
like,
think
damn.
the conversation was about who has good steak. And I've never been to Ricardo's. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you. I never said it was bad or nothing like that. I was just saying the most famous steakhouse in New York City is Peter Luger Steakhouse. So I'm just saying, yo, that's a place to go. Then Doi was talking about how Ricardo's got better ambiance. I'm not talking about ambiance. Now, if somebody's coming around talking about, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I mean, I don't really give a fuck what nobody thinks. But all I'm saying is, I'm just telling you what's a famous steakhouse in New York City. When you're saying, hey, I want to get steak in New York, that's the
one of
first
the
place that
names.
comes to mind. If you're going, yo, I want to get some kind of pastrami sandwich in New York, the first place I'm going to think
It's
is
gonna go to
Katz.
Katz,
If
yeah.
you're talking about, yo, I want to get a hot dog, the first place I'm going to think is Nathan's. Like these are just the go-to places that have been known for like 100 years.
And to mind you, it was just a shit talk. It wasn't like being serious. Like he wasn't saying it in a serious manner. It was just like, you know how Chris Breezy jokes. He was just being like one of those sarcastic jokes. It was
I
just
think
like
you're accusing Breezy without even. I don't know if Breezy even.
he
said
did.
that.
Say,
Yeah.
he did say.
We're
it.
just
He did
talking
say
about
it.
some accusations here.
I know.
I
those
miss
are not.
Cats. Cats was fucking great. They used to have one in Austin. They used to have an Austin location.
That's awesome.
Cats used
There's-
to scare me. Every
Shit sounds
day in New
disgusting.
York City, you turn the TV on and there'll be a commercial of the Cats musical. Yo, as a kid, that shit used to creep me out. I know we're actually talking about Cats delicatessen, but I'm thinking
Cats.
elsewhere.
Yeah,
Cats.
what a weird musical.
I like how
Speaking
We love
about
Cats in
musicals,
Broadway.
real
That shit's
quick, let me shout out Aaron from Little House of Horrors musical on Broadway. They just released content on NPR. They did like a small version of what they do on Broadway there. Incredible. I know him from the bar. Real fucking cool. Shout out to him. If you haven't
shit.
clicked like or subscribe by now, you can also do that too. It helps us out with the algorithms. And it'll give us a little push. You can find our content anywhere you look for content. So Spotify, Apple Music, Google, we're everywhere. If you
Under
just
a
type,
rock on the beach.
yep. Well, you see our little sticker there with the hashtag. So
So what are you gonna say, Tony?
I was gonna say, shout out to Johnny Depp in this court case. The man's coming out and saying he's been abused. He's a victim. A lot of these court cases, people always kind of side with the woman. Usually because, the man is strong and he's whatever, masculinity type bullshit. But it's like, bro, that shit can happen to us too. Us guys can be victim of abuse.
absolutely.
Like physically, mentally, like it's not just a one-way track. And that's like one of the, not sexist, but when it comes to stuff like that.
Well, the numbers are hard to read, right? Because a lot of men don't come forward. That's the important takeaway here is Johnny Depp actually came forward, and props to him for bringing it out into the
light.
public, community to be talked about and discussed, and maybe make it a little bit more mainstream for men to feel willing to come out and admit when they've been abused and take steps to correct that.
I like it. That's just showing like, like for years it's always been like, only women really get abused. It's like, nah, bro, guys get abused too. This shit is not because I guess like it's like a manly thing, like, oh, like I ain't gonna say I'm getting abused by no woman or like, how they say it. I'm not saying that's how I say it, but that's how I guess some masculinity type manly guy would say, like, yeah, I ain't gonna admit to that. But it's like, bro, like, no, we get abused too. If it's not physically, it's mentally. Like we get drained as well. We're humans. Like it's not just only women can feel that way, or
Yeah.
So I kudos to shout outs to Johnny and what it looks like so far is that he's winning this case. So it's like yeah.
Even if it is gonna almost ruin if what she said didn't ruin his career, this might almost ruin it for sure.
I don't think it would ruin his
I mean,
career.
it did already start ruining it. Like, I'm pretty sure they took him out of the next Pirates of the.
That shit's
Caribbean.
done with. That shit sucks.
So like that happened, right? Because of this. And it sucks because like hypothetically speaking, I mean, they both seem like pieces of shit, to be honest. But coming out of this, if a lot of the claims that she made were not true, then they pulled the rug on them for no reason, pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I would be,
shitty.
I honestly, like, her lying like that, fucking up this man's career. And, you know, like, bro, Johnny Depp made Jack Sparrow. Like, that's a key component. That's why I like watching Pirates of the Caribbean.
I don't think that Johnny Depp is actually a super great actor, but I did enjoy his Jack Sparrow. I think he did some cool, interesting things with that. I think he was the entire reason why those movies kind of worked.
Yeah. Just how he just got into character, bro. It's amazing how he does a hell of a good job. Like,
You know, I received fellatio in a movie theater while watching one of the further movies. I think it was the third or fourth one. So I gotta say, like, yeah, movies rememberable because I remembered that movie.
I don't think you remembered it because of the movie. I think you remembered it because you was getting head while watching the movie. It's a very big difference.
There's a lot of fellatio was being received.
Okay.
I mean, I love Johnny Depp. He's done a lot of shit that I like. So,
Man, I think, wasn't he in Once Upon a Time in Mexico or something like that? He was like one of the gunslingers.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, he was the CIA dude, I think.
Yeah.
He was the little kid in Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
No, I think it
Who was
was
that
he the
kid?
boyfriend? He wasn't a little kid, right?
He was in Willy
He was
Wonka.
He was the boyfriend.
He went toe to toe with Freddie. I think he's like, "Come on, motherfucker!" Like he whips the knife out and everything. Like he tries to throw down with this.
He was in Willy Wonka too. Willy Wonka's another one. I don't know how good of a part. It was
That
semi
wasn't very
good.
good. But I mean, you got Crybaby.
Yeah.
You got Edward Scissorhands.
Oh,
You
yeah, I forgot about that
What was
one.
the Sleepy Hollow?
Sleepy Hollow was
Right?
fire.
He was
That was a good
Ichabod
movie.
Crane.
That Cochinita Pibil was so good. Once upon a time in Mexico, he had to go kill that man.
Yeah. No, he definitely did a lot of
Donnie
good movies.
Brasco, Blow, Secret
mean,
Windows.
He
The guy had
was
some
in
bangers.
Blow.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape is a classic. I
That's
just
probably-
think that he kind of has been existed in Hollywood so long that he tends to play a lot of the same character, especially when he works with Tim Burton.
But that's a lot of actors, though. Like, if you really
yeah.
think about it, like,
I feel like Edward Scissorhands catapulted him into being like
The weird
this
guy.
pale weirdo in like
Yeah.
in so many movies. It's just I don't know. It's disturbing.
I mean, that's a tough job.
And who's the guy that does all these movies? Tim Burton. Tim Burton loves to hook his wife up with Johnny Depp. That shit's
Helena
also
Bonham
weird.
Carter.
Yeah.
What?
The you know Marla from Fight Club.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
Marla from Fight Club. That's Tim Burton's wife. But in all the movies that he directs, it feels like she is always Johnny Depp's like love interest.
He
She's
just
another
wild.
pale weirdo.
some simp shit going on there. Like, he just likes to.
don't know,
Maybe that's how he gets. Damn.
Could be. Come watch out. You don't want to get a defamation lawsuit against you.
Yeah, for real.
Another thing, all right. Another thing that's been circling around. I want Dewey to be here. Did you guys see this Fresh and Fit interview thing that happened? They talked to this like Australian lady, or they went on this Australian lady show. Pretty much, they were just saying that the gist of it was when it comes to a relationship, a man and a woman needs to be with just one man, but that man is just totally fine hooking up with plenty of women in that relationship, and that's totally okay. Like that's the right way that it should be. I feel like that's the gist of what they were going for.
Huh.
Yeah, they were on a radio show spewing their usual bullshit. Somewhat of the like Kevin Samuels also like agrees with that type of bullshit and all this power male and that, you know, the only woman that's worth having is a woman that isn't having kids, and you know, they don't even want a woman that's well educated. They're like, no, you have don't worry about that either. You have to worry about serving me. It's just You know who else did a huge slam dunk on them? They went on the Flagrant podcast with Kesh and this guy Andrew Scholes. And bro, that shit made them look stupid. I can't even believe. Yo, Andrew Schultz was like, "Are you sure you want me to release this content? Because it kind of makes you guys look bad." And they were like, "Oh no, it's no problem." But it very much exposed these guys for the losers that they are. It's real loser ideology, if you ask me.
It's weird. It's weird nonsense, man. It's just there's a lot of weird takes like that. Like it's kind of like the rule of thumb I have. If a dude calls himself an alpha male, first off, he's probably not anywhere near what he defines as an alpha male. And second off, you probably just don't want to be friends with that guy. That's probably not anyone you want to like kick it with.
I agree. Yeah, I find a lot of that ideology to be very dumb. To each his own, but I think a lot of that shit is stupid. And I
don't know. My only discomfort with the whole to each his own thing is just like people spreading this message is gonna infect our youth, and then you're gonna have a bunch of fucking little knuckleheads growing up talking some bullshit like, nah, it's totally right that I hook up with as many chicks as I want, but my girl needs to just be with me.
That wasn't too far from what we were taught when we were young as well, from like our machismo fucking uncles, and I was taught that. In a Cuban society, the men get to fool around and the women are just at home cleaning. That's very much so how I grew up.
Yeah, but everybody knew it was wrong. Like, and that's why no one spoke about it. They'll tell that, like, the little boys were told that this is the way, but they know that their mom would be pissed. They know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, they knew that it wasn't right. This is more like they're saying this is the correct way that things should be. I don't know. I feel like it's different. Like, you should just be like a bimbo chick. You shouldn't know shit. Like, who cares if you get an education? You shouldn't have an education because, like, I'm going to take care of you. All you got to do is worry about me. Like, I'm the only thing you got to know. And it's like, feels like you're setting up a certain type of power dynamic where a woman is completely dependent on you, so you get to make her do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. You become the primary decision maker.
Yep.
They would say as men should, because men, they think they're rational, they think straight, and women are incapable of doing that.
You want to know what pisses me off the most is that these guys use the religious card for a lot of their reasoning. And it's like, you don't give a fuck about the Muslim fucking faith and religion. You're not fucking out there pulling your little carpet out to do fucking your prayer 2 times a day. Like, you're not doing any of that shit. You just want to use this one clause in a religion that allows you to have more than one wife. Like, you're not a good example of what that religion would even consider as like a person who would even be considered for something like that. So it's for me, that shit, it just irks me when they say like stuff like that attached to religion, and it's just a cop out. They're trying to get the religious exemption.
It's Weasley, because what they're really doing is they're like, I don't have a real justification for my feelings, and I'm just gonna defer to this thing that I don't even fully agree with or anything like that, but I'm just gonna defer to it. Like my faith says blah blah blah, or my this says blah blah blah, and it's just like, oh, okay, I guess. Like, what do you say to that? Fuck your faith?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that's like if there's no, that's the end of the conversation. It's pretty corny to me, but.
But yeah, to your point, you're not going to have an educated conversation about something if your response is "fuck your faith," although that is a very satisfying response.
I mean, but think about it. that's a big part of like Kevin Samuel's rhetoric is like he has this oh God, and it just for me is a little bit weak, and it's I just feel like religion has a chokehold on us on like aspects of like manhood. I don't know, like
It's just the
there are
old way
just
of thinking. Like,
very
and that's the same thing about this court case with Amber and Johnny Depp. It's like it's an old way of thinking that a man can't be abused. And that's why men just swallow it up and be like, nah, I'm not gonna report that she's abusing me because I look weak or whatever. It's because of that mindset that growing up back in the days, that's what we portrayed. Like men are the strong, men are the working. They come home, they provide for the family, this and that. And it was never the other way around where now there's women coming home and they're the provider. The men stay at home and cook and clean. Like, like it could be both. It don't have to be one generic standard way. Like, you know what I mean? And that's just the mindset of changing with time. Like people will, I guess, evolve, right? We'll stop thinking like that type of way. And that's why, like, out of a lot of these celebrity court cases and shit, I don't really give a fuck about, but this one I kind of do because it's interesting that, like, so a man is, whether, people view him as a shitty guy or whatever, he's coming forward saying, yo, I'm being abused. I'm like, she's fucked up my money by getting me kicked off of movies and throwing my name, defamation of character and shit. Like, nah, this got to end. Like, and that's where I was like, you know what, that he's changing. He's gonna open the gateway to other guys just saying, you know what, me too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
facts.
Yeah,
So
it's-
you
it's-
saying
it's-
this
it's
is going
definitely
to
not a bad
create
thing.
the next Me Too movement, but for men, for male activism?
that's a hot take, right?
I like it. I like how it
Man,
thinks.
I bet if you give people the platform and a safe place to like discuss it, I bet you'll see a lot of shit come out about even in Hollywood towards men. Sex goes both ways. There's gonna be lesbians and gay men, and they're gonna be their own set
Yeah.
of predators to people.
I mean, a couple years ago, like, who's the big buff dude from White
Oh.
Chicks? His name is escaping me.
Terrell
Oh
Crews.
yes, Terry
Terry
Crews.
Crews.
Someone like grabbed his cock.
Yep, at an
And
industry party.
He told him, yo, back the fuck off, like something along those lines.
No, he sued him. He went to the
Even
police
better. And people on The View and things like that were saying, like, he's a piece of shit. Like, he's making a big deal. He's a crybaby.
Yep.
Like, and it's like, I wonder how many times this type of stuff has happened to people, to men as well. Like, think of the Kevin Spacey thing, right? How he came on to a number of younger men that were trying to enter Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much of a quid pro quo was there where, like, maybe he's done that to other people and they went along with it to maybe better their careers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a good eye opener. Like, it's not a one way ticket for, ladies are not the only one who are not saying that it doesn't happen or it's less, but it's not just the ladies, bro. That shit works for us too. Like, we need to stop thinking that sort of way. Like, oh nah, like if a girl grabs a guy's dick, it's all good. Like, nah, bitch. I'm sorry. I don't want you touching my dick. I want you groping
Now,
me.
I think a girl who grabs your dick and then acts like you're a piece of shit for making a big deal of it, I think you could call her a bitch. I think that's okay.
Yeah, I think someone that's sexually assaulting you, I think you're allowed.
Yeah.
I think you could call him a bitch.
But yeah, no. I think, like I said, that shit is. I think more and more cases might come out eventually. Just first of many, I guess.
Yeah, I love a good person getting put in their place. Like there was the chick that was I think Disney or something like that, and there was the Gaston like character. He's a character from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh yeah,
And,
yeah.
He was like posing around or whatever, and the chick started feeling up on him. Maybe squeeze his ass
Squeeze
or
his
like
chest.
squeeze his nipples
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that. and he kicked her out. He got her kicked out. I thought that was awesome. But she was appalled. She was like, "What? What did I do? I just grabbed your nipples. What is wrong with that?" Like, and again, she couldn't see the fact that like you're feeling up on a person without their consent. Like, this is wrong.
There's so many layers to that too. Like, there's obviously the like not getting consent before you feel someone up, right? But also, if there's a Gaston performer, like, you're at a kids' amusement park, like, don't feel someone up at a kids' amusement park.
Yeah. Imagine if it was reversed. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. This man would have been in handcuffs, getting sued. Like, that's what I'm saying. Some shit sometimes is like one-sided. Like, people view it differently. And it's, oh, the guy can do it, it's okay. But then when the shit flips around on the woman, it's like no one really bats an eye.
No, I remember it's just about consent, man. I remember we were going through Times Square one time and one of my homegirls wanted the Spider-Man to like lift her up and he had to grab her and like her butt and shit like that. He asked, he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna have to grab you. Are you gonna be okay with that?" I think it's more about just like getting consent for it first.
Yeah, if you say sure, like, yeah, that's different. Saying like they're just doing it. You know what I mean? Like, they're on some Trump shit. They could grab her by the pussy. Like that, that's the shit that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a fucked up mindset. It doesn't matter what gender you identify as or anything like that. Just don't fucking regret. Don't touch people. Like, don't break boundaries. Don't break personal space. Like, just don't do it. Let's just all be mindful of that.
In relationships, it can get hard to like control your emotions. But like, I feel like if you don't have any control over your emotions, it's a possibility you might not be ready for
in a relationship,
any sort of relationship. Yeah, like this Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. A lot of these arguments sound like neither of them are capable of even having a conversation with each other. And it's like, what are you guys even doing living with each other at that point?
I mean, it gets there eventually, you know, like, it doesn't happen overnight. Like, you just sort of kind of get accustomed to it and it becomes numb. And then there's a point where you have a breaking point. Like, Johnny Depp woke up from this breaking point and he said, "Nah, enough's enough. Fuck this shit."
Tony is spot on. Boundaries get crossed one step at a time. Like, you toe over that line, you test your limits, and you know,
yeah, and if you
some amount of time you get to toxic levels of behavior, like we're seeing in this trial.
Yep. And not to defend women that do these types of things, but oftentimes it's innocent. Like, that girl who felt up on Gaston, I don't think that she thought she was doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying?
You can say that for the guys too, though. Like, they don't.
100%, 100%. There's men that are raised that like go slap that girl's ass, or you could be highly aggressive towards women and this is totally normal. And I also think that oftentimes those actions are innocent, that they are behaving in that manner and they're not cognizant of what they're doing is actually, that what they're doing is wrong. Which is still on them. Like, they're doing the action and they're not thinking about what they're doing. Like, they should be self-reflective and understand that what they're doing is wrong. But still, I'm just saying that I'm not defending their actions. I'm just saying that there is a big culture aspect to this, that like, that girl didn't think she was doing anything wrong when she did that. And that's a problem. Like,
it goes back to what we've discussed before. Like, consent needs to be part of some sort of public education.
Not in Florida, man.
I don't have any hope. I don't have any hopes that it's going to get there. Greg Abbott here in my state wants to challenge the Supreme Court ruling that required us to educate all students regardless of their immigration status. So he's trying to get a Supreme Court decision on that, so that we don't have to educate people that are in pending immigration statuses or illegal aliens or anything like that anymore.
Shit.
It's terrible. It's fucking terrible.
Education should be
the
universal, right?
is.
Because he hates immigrants, he hates brown people, and it's more, and it'll cost less money to not have to educate an entire percentage of the population.
Yeah, but I guess I'm saying like,
what like reasoning is he using?
Immigrants pay taxes, right?
Yeah.
Like, oftentimes they work jobs legally. They're paying taxes on their job. They're paying rent. They're buying things. They're paying taxes, and they don't see the benefits of these taxes they're paying. Oftentimes because they can't get Social Security or they can't get like government assistance, and like there's a lot of things they're barred from because they're not citizens, but they're still paying into a lot of the same things that Americans are. It just seems like unfair to be like that they shouldn't get access to some things. Like, for example, they get to drive on roads, right? Like that's a benefit of taxpayer dollars, right? And there's a whole bunch of other infrastructure that they get as well. I don't know. I feel like education seems fair. Like you don't want people growing up in your country being stupid. Like that just seems like a net negative. Like I don't know.
Although with the government's recent actions, Roe versus Wade, it almost seems like they need poor people to sustain this whole shit that they got going. It's a little bit sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ron DeSantis here in Florida seems keen on gutting the education system. Yeah, I've read some interesting things about how it's like highly intentional. That for years Florida's been trying to trash the public education system in favor of like
Private
charter schools and like school choice type of deals. Like, but basically, like it'll be more expensive on us to pay into these schools than public education.
Yeah, I've been arguing with people on Facebook all week about all kinds of various political issues that have happened in the past week or so.
Yeah.
Well,
Tony, get us into that next
lighter
topic.
news. Yeah, I was already going there.